Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining TopCon Solutions webcast this morning on what's new in AutoCAD 2021. My name is Diana Alarcon, and I am the Marketing Events Coordinator here at TopCon Solutions. So thank you very much again for being here with us today. I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping items before I officially hand off the presentation to our presenter, Vinnie Stamato. So very quickly here, time permitting, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So should you have any questions, please reference that questions pane on your little GoToWebinar control panel, and we will try to answer any and all questions as we're able to this morning. If we are unable to get to your question, we will reach out to you at a later time. So just in case if you have any questions for us this morning. Also, for your reference, this webinar is being recorded and will be accessible as soon as we're done here. You can find recorded webinars on our website, topconsolutions.com. If you click near technical support and hover over that, there is a videos category where we will have this recorded webinar and previous recorded webinars as well. And while you're on our website, please feel free to reference the You're Invited tab, as that is a location where you can see any upcoming webinars that we have that you might be interested in. I know coming up here just off the top of my head that we have a great AEC collection series coming up later this month. So please feel free to check that out while you are on our website as well. Another location where you can find our recorded webinars is on our YouTube channel, and that's TopCon Solutions Store. So please feel free to reference our YouTube channel as well. As soon as this presentation is done, we will try to have that uploaded shortly. So with all of that being said, it's my pleasure to announce and introduce our presenter for today, and that is Vinnie Stamato. So go ahead, Vinnie, please take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Diana, for starting us off. Welcome to the TopCon Solutions What's New in AutoCAD 2021 webinar. It's great to have you all here with us today. I am your host, Vinnie Stamato. Today's webinar is going to be an overview of some of the new features and tool sets that are available in AutoCAD 2021, brought to you by TopCon Solutions. Just so that you know, we are an Autodesk Platinum partner. We provide software sales, software support, licensing support, and online training for Autodesk products. So before we begin, I would just like to introduce myself. I'm an application specialist and AutoCAD trainer here at TopCon Solutions. I've worked as a builder for over 25 years in both vertical and horizontal construction. I've used AutoCAD for electrical, residential, solar power systems design, and I'm an Autodesk certified instructor. So objectives for today's webinar. First, we'll briefly talk about what the new Autodesk subscription includes, the new Autodesk cloud storage options, the Autodesk web app, and some new specialized and time-saving industry-specific tool sets. After that, we'll talk about enhancements to the touchscreen interface. And then after that, we'll highlight some of the new AutoCAD 2021 features, which I know you're all here to view. Some of the features that we're going to go over today include drawing history and compare, the enhanced blocks palette. We'll talk about the smoother and faster graphics performance. We'll talk about improvements to quick measure, and we'll talk about the streamlines to the trim and extend tool, and the new break objects at a single point tool. And we'll also talk about revision cloud enhancements. So the new Autodesk Cloud Storage options. So now with a subscription, accessibility from any internet connection, you can access your files, you could store your files on Dropbox, OneDrive, on Box, and now you can also store files on Google Drive. Security and reliability features include encryption products and backups on multiple servers in different locations. Also included with this is a file version history. Keep in mind that the capacity varies between the different providers, and there's also an e-transmit feature, which includes all reference files. And you can see the Autodesk Knowledge Network for more specific details. And I'm gonna go right here to the Autodesk web app and mobile app. So this is available with subscription. The AutoCAD web app runs online in your web browser with no need to have AutoCAD installed on your machine. If you visit the web.autocad.com, you can sign into your AutoCAD account and start working. The AutoCAD mobile app also includes an easy to use interface and tools to upload, open, create, and edit drawings from your mobile device. And the mobile app is available on Mac, Android, Windows 10, and Surface Hub. And we recommend you download it today and try it out. And with that, let's take a look at the mobile app. And we'll go right over to here. So when you go to the web app, you'll see a sign-in page. Looks like this. That little sign-in box, that little blue sign-in box on the right there that flashed. Since I've already signed in, it just took me right into it. So this is what you'll see on the web app. You can see over here on the top left, I've got my AutoCAD web app and mobile. Just below that, I've got my OneDrive files. Everything in my OneDrive account is loaded right here. And you could also add any one of these other providers. We've got Google Drive, Box, OneDrive, and Dropbox. And I wanted to show everybody here what the web app actually looks like, and the graphics performance and what you see on the web app. So here's just a real basic file. Just wanted to show some selecting, some panning and zooming, and you can see that it's pretty good clarity, pretty good registration, panning and zooming, fairly reliable. And over in the top left, you could see under our views, we've got model views, we've got our layout view. Underneath that, we've got our properties panel. We've got our layers panel, blocks, XREFs. Down on the lower left, we've got our draw panel, annotate and modify. Command line across the very bottom works just the same as your regular AutoCAD. Settings over on the far right. So we could turn on coordinates. We've got access to object snap mode, object snap tracking, ortho mode, and polar tracking. And then over on the top right, we've got undo, redo, some zoom commands. So it'll give you the basics. And once again, you could view this on anybody's machine. Someone who's involved in the project who may not have AutoCAD on their machine, they can go to the web app and take a look at files as well. So I just wanted to show you what that actually looked like. And once again, you could go to web.autocad.com. Next, we're going to get into talking about the 7 specialized tool sets. So these 7 specialized tool sets allow you to easily organize and sort and group layers using layer standards, layer key styles, and layer overrides. The tool sets automatically create and manage layers. Layers can be customized based on your standards. As you create objects, they're automatically placed on the appropriate layer with color, line type, and line weight. And the toolset automatically creates a layer if it does not exist. Something to keep in mind that these toolsets are separate individual product installs. They can be found in your Autodesk account, and they are included with subscription. So it is said that these toolsets will save a great deal of time if you use tools out of these toolsets. They perform multiple functions. For example, the architecture toolset has over 8,000 intelligent AEC objects and styles, things like walls, doors, and windows. The electrical toolset has more than 2,000 standards-based schematic symbols. It includes support for NFPA, IEC, and other electrical code standards. And in the electrical toolset, there's a circuit builder feature which is supported by the electrical standards database, includes wire sizing recommendations, energy loss calculations, and things of that nature. And you can see the full description of these tool sets and how to optimize these tool sets at the AutoCAD 2021, The Truth About Toolsets Guide. And once again, tool sets are available with a subscription. So let's talk about touchscreen enhancements. So now when using a touchscreen, pan is a 1-finger or 2-finger drag. Zoom is either a pinch or a spread with 2 fingers. To select something, basically tap on an object to select or drag 1 finger to create a window or a crossing. To escape, double tap with 1 finger to exit a command. And if you drag a finger over an object, you can display it. So once again, you can just drag in one direction or the other to create either a window or a crossing to select objects on your touchscreen. All right, so next we'll talk about some of these new features in AutoCAD 2021. So this first one right here, drawing history and compare. So what this does, it's similar to DWG compare, only it is a drawing history that is automatically stored in each individual file. It's not separate files. So this new feature compares DWGs with previous versions that are used from your cloud storage location. When you're signed into your Autodesk account, a pop-up notification will appear the first time you open a drawing from a cloud storage account. Additional versions of these drawings are created as you work, creating a version history. Previous versions are listed in the new drawing history palette, which you see right there on the right-hand side. You can compare them with the current version of your drawing. Changes between DWGs are highlighted in different colors, and they even have a revision cloud. Let's take a look at this feature. Let's see, so let's take a look at, so you could see as I'm hovering over this file, it's actually being stored on my OneDrive account. So when I open it up from OneDrive, since I've recently been working in this, I didn't get the little pop-up, but you would see over here on the far right, a little pop-up telling you that there's a version history available. Under the View tab, DWG history is a new feature right here. Once I open that, I get this drop-down menu, and it's showing me I've got 2 earlier versions of this file. I'll zoom in a little bit. As I hover over each version, I get this little icon that I can use to compare versions. So I'll select the top one first, and if there's no differences found between the 2 versions, then I'm fine. This lower one Let's click on that. And here it has a version history. So you could see what's in red is not in the current drawing, and what's in green is in the current drawing. There's a revision cloud around the changes. I can use these arrows to scroll between each of the different revisions. I could turn off what's not in the current drawing and see my current drawing. And I can, over here, I can import the objects from the most recent drawing. I can save a drawing as a snapshot that will bind the results of the comparison into the two drawings, into the one drawing. And then over here in the version history, you could see I could filter by user, I could filter by date, and then I could filter by time right over here. So this will tell me time between versions. So say I want to go 4 hours or 24 hours or an hour. I just did an hour so that way I could load a couple of versions in here real quickly, but you have your options to look at your version histories. And the green check mark will exit the compare. So that's our DWG history. Once again, one of the new features for AutoCAD 2021. Next for 2021 is the enhanced blocks palette. So let's take a look at that. All right. So for 2020, AutoCAD came out with this new blocks palette. This isn't in 2019, 18, or earlier versions. So in 2020, they came out with this blocks palette, and in 2021, they went ahead and upgraded it. It has been improved to give you access to your block content at any time, anywhere. You can insert blocks by using your Autodesk account with your supported cloud storage provider, whether it's Box, Dropbox, OneDrive. Blocks, so you know, are not supported via Google Drive. So let's just take a quick look at this new feature. Here I've got blocks that are in my current drawing. Down here on the very bottom, I've got insertion options. I can scale the block as I bring it in. I could rotate the block as I bring it in. I could repeat placement. I can explode the block using these options. I can right click on a block, and I could insert or I could explode it. I can single click and drag, drop it into the drawing, and I can double click on it and specify an insertion point and drag a block into my drawing. Under recent blocks, here are some recent blocks that I've recently imported into my drawing. And now this new tab, the Libraries tab. So the Libraries tab, for those that are familiar with the blocks panel, replaced the Drawings tab. So in the Libraries tab now, since there is access to cloud storage, you can store block libraries in a cloud storage area so that you can have access to your libraries anytime, anywhere, as long as you have internet access. And just by clicking on that icon, I opened up my block libraries file. Any of the blocks on any of these drawings are accessible once that drawing is populated into the block libraries. Once again, a new feature. Let's talk about zoom, pan, and orbit. Go back to here's blocks, smoother and faster graphics performance. So this is a really nice feature for AutoCAD 2021. So the speed of panning and zooming in 2D has now been enhanced. Now AutoCAD-based products automatically perform regeneration operations as needed. So instead of having to do a regen on your drawing after you've been working in it for a while, it will automatically do regen as you're working. You can disable the regen, the automatic regen if you like. So there's a system variable, the RT regen auto controls automatic regeneration. You could toggle it on or off. The responsiveness in the program when using 3D orbit pan and zoom has improved significantly by making use of multi-core processors. So that's a enhanced pan, zoom, and orbit. Improvements to the quick measure. So this is one of my favorite tools, quick measure. I could just grab the quick measure tool, hover it, get some ideas real quick on whatever my measurements or my dimensions are. So improvements to quick measure include the area and perimeter options. So the quick option of the measure geometry command now measures the area and perimeter within a closed space in the plan view of the drawing. Clicking within a closed area highlights it in green and displays the calculated values in the command window. So you can see selecting this little object, it's displaying area and perimeter. Excuse me there. Using shift and click, you can select areas and deselect areas that you want to see. The cumulative area and perimeters are calculated. The perimeters of enclosed islands are also included. Let's take a look at quick measure. So quick measure. So I've got my quick measure tool. All I have to do is hover inside one of these closed spaces, holding down the shift key, pressing my left mouse. It gives me an area and a perimeter, and it also gives me the cumulative area and perimeter. So I'm holding down the shift key and selecting other areas. You can see it's adding up the areas for a cumulative add, and then it's showing me the individual dimensions of the area. Same thing, adding areas to this cumulative area tool. And now while still holding down the shift key, I could deselect areas. As soon as I release the shift key and move my cursor, they disappear. Go back to quick measure again. So enhancements to the quick measure and using shift click to select multiple areas and view your cumulative area and to eliminate areas. Next, let's take a look at improvements to the trim and extend tool. So the trim and extend tool has a legacy option. You can go back to the way it used to be or the new way. After you start the trim extend commands, all you have to do is select the object that you want to trim or extend. The default quick mode automatically selects all potential boundaries by default. You could do a freehand selection by holding down the left mouse and dragging the cursor through multiple objects. You could also create a fence selection by clicking points. And another really nice feature when using trim, if you've got line work that is going through some hatching, in the quick mode, all you have to do is just select that piece of line work and it will trim it from the exterior boundary of the object, and it will not be trimming it to the individual segments inside the hatch. So let's take a look at how that works. Trim, extend, and hatch. And once again, there is the legacy option where you can actually use trim and extend, select a boundary, and then select your trimming and your extending So for here, let's take a look at trim. Got my trim selected. So I'm just hovering over an object. And it's going to trim to the nearest boundary. If you see this piece of line work through all that hatching, just selecting it, trims it. I can hear people already saying, oh, wow, that is so much easier. Just select and it's trimmed. So right here, you can see it's selected to the nearest boundary. Once again, selecting to the nearest boundary. If you trim an object that doesn't have any boundaries, it'll delete it. There we go for trim. Do another trim right here. And I want to show you the extend. Same thing, hover, click, and it extends to the next possible boundary. There we go. So this is where it runs into a little snag. The extend, when it's dealing with hatch, is only going to go one segment at a time into each one of these pieces of hatch. So work in progress. Let's take a look at some other, here's another extend. Selecting my object, you can see it just extends. Select this radius, extends. All right, so that's the trim and extend. And once again, if I come down here into mode in my command line, I could use the quick version or the standard version. So the quick version is what we just looked at. Standard version, you're selecting a boundary and doing a trimming and extending to whatever boundary you've selected. So a new tool for you there in 2021. Another nice tool is the break at point. So let's take a peek at what it says for break at point. So this is a new variation to the break at point. Break your line work at a single point. So with the new break at point command, the break at point tool on the ribbon can be repeated by just placing enter, and the command directly separates a line, an arc, or an open polyline into two objects at a specified point. Now let's take a look at how that works. So I'll select my break at point. I'll come in, select my object, and then I'm just going to select a point on that object. And you can see now I've got two line segments. Press enter, back into the break at point, select another object, break it at that point. I've got two line segments. And also there's the extend, which is really quite handy. Let's go to break at point on this object. And now turn on my snap settings. I'm just going to hover over my endpoint, and I am going to extend this. I'm just going to extend it 5.245 units and hit enter. And now that line has been broken at that distance. You can see there 5.245. So you can actually enter in a distance using your extension from your object snaps. And same for a radius. Press enter, back into the break at point, select a radius, hovering over the radius, and I'll start to just follow that radius. And once again, I'll type in 2.345 as my breakout point. And if I go to my properties, we'll take a look down here. We could see that that line that we broke is indeed 2.345. So right along that arc length. So breakout point tool. Next, we've got enhancements to the revision cloud. So this is some nice enhancements here. So previously, the revision cloud was a polyline. Now, revision cloud is an actual object type. It has properties, and it can be edited in the properties panel. Revision clouds have an additional arc property and arc length, which can be edited. When a revision cloud is created in a drawing, the sizes of the arcs are determined by the diagonal length of the current view. And the revision cloud can have uniform arcs or variable sized arcs. And this can be changed in the Rev Cloud variants by toggling on or off. We'll take a look at that here. Let's go to File, Revision Cloud. So here you see your revision cloud. Select the revision cloud and properties. It's showing me, hey, it's a revision cloud. Pretty cool. Properties for the revision cloud. Down here at the very bottom, there's this arc length option. So we can see in this revision cloud, this particular cloud has variable sized arcs. Just to point that out, I'm going to change my arc length to 3 feet. And you can see you can make a change there. Same thing, we've got our little controls, our grips. We can get in there, move it around. Let's take a look at another Rev Cloud. So here's your basic revision cloud with a standard arc length. And if I type in Rev Cloud variants, toggle it on, and I come back and draw another Rev Cloud right here. You can see it's got a varied arc length. So for those who want to have a choice between how your revision cloud looks, you've got a varied arc length or a consistent arc length. So that's another new for 2021. Nice little feature there. And next, let's take a look at the new XREF compare tool. So I am going to open up. Okay, I'm going to use this because the scale works pretty well. And I'm going to insert an XREF. And open. And what we'll see with this tool is when changes are made to the XREF, you'll get a notification in this drawing that those changes took place. So you can see I have this XREF, this very small part. I'm going to go to this part itself. XREF compare. There's the part. And I'm going to go ahead and just add some simple hatching to it. Go ahead and save it. And I'll go back to my other file, and you guessed it. So then you get this little pop-up button, pop-up bubble down in the lower right of your screen. An XREF was modified. Reload XREF and compare changes. So you want this compare the changes toggled on, that little checkbox. You want that checked on. And I will reload the XREF, and let's turn on our hatch. So with the hatching, there's a filter down here, and there's a filter for text. You could turn off your text and your hatch if you've got too much data and all that information is in your way. So now green is the current XREF, and it's got a little revision cloud around it. If I turn that off, you can see that's the XREF that's actually in there. So since the XREF was updated, there's the change. So it's kind of similar to what we saw with DWG compare. And also, just so you know, this little dialog box has a pin in it. I recommend you pin it, and it will just stay in one place. If you don't pin it, it'll tend to go away, leave the screen. And the green check will accept that change of that XREF, and off you go on your merry way. So those are some of the new features. I hope this was rather informative. Let's take another quick look before we finish out here. Additional resources. So you could always contact TopCon Solutions for licensing support, software support. So we're at software support at topconsolutions.com. And I wanted to show folks some of the ebooks and some of the AutoCAD videos that are available. So we're all used to Googling things. So I just wanted to show some of the features here. So all these new commands that I just went through, it's right here on Autodesk's AutoCAD for 2021. And it talks about these new features and explains them if you wanted to go back and take another look at them. They're right here at AutoCAD, what's new AutoCAD 2021. Another site I want to take a peek at is the tool sets. So we talked about these tool sets. These tool sets are separate downloads. If I click here in this AutoCAD architecture tool set, it's offering you a free trial of AutoCAD if you don't have it with the tool set. And inside this tool set, these are some of the features that are in the architecture tool set. Worth taking a read if you want to use these tool sets. They're really advanced. There's a great deal of information in them. And then here's a little study on the benefits of the architecture tool set. Some case studies. This is a rather interesting project right here. I love looking at some of these projects from around the world. It always gives me inspiration. And then the other thing I wanted to take a look at is ebooks. So Autodesk has on their resources page ebooks. In here you can get information, shortcuts guide. Once again, what's new in 2021. Software administrator guide to Autodesk subscriptions. Information in here on what's good about subscriptions, the advantage of subscription, things of that nature. So here are ebooks. And also in here, you'll find the ebook about the tool sets. And that's about what we've got for you guys today.
I have questions if you're ready to take some questions, Vinnie.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first question here, does the web app open local files?
Yes, it does. You'd have to navigate to your folder where your local files are.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And that question was coming from Dave Fuller. So thank you, Dave, for your question. Another question we have here is, do I have to use the ribbon or are there CUIs for menus?
Yes, there are CUIs for menus. You can create your own user interface and have your own menus loaded on your screen however you like. Yeah, you could totally customize your interface in 2021.
Okay, great. And thank you again to Dave Fuller for that question. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to insert those into the chat while we still have a few minutes, or as Vinnie is showing up on his screen, this is his information, and please feel free to reach out to us for any additional help or support.
Yeah, and with that, I'd like to thank everybody for their time this morning. And I wish you all the best working from home and in remote capacity the way we're working. It's definitely a different way of working. And feel free to contact us if you need any kinds of solutions or support around working from home. We've got folks on board who are real savvy with BIM 360. And if that's a platform that you're using or need to use, we can provide guidance and support with that. And we're here to help you get your work done, basically, is our mission. One of our missions. It's one of my missions, actually.
I think we have another question here, Vinnie, so one moment.
Great.
As I find that here. Okay, so any plans for survey/civil tool set?
That is a good question. And I believe there are tool sets for civil. I haven't looked into it extensively, but I can. And I can get back to you and let you know what plans and or if there are tool sets for civil. So if we could get your email address, I'd be happy to respond back to you after I did a little bit of research, get you a more qualified answer on that.
Okay, great. We will definitely get that information to you, Vinnie, for a follow-up. So thank you to Michael Monacle for that question. Okay, it appears that those are all of the questions. Oh, okay, he just responded. Thank you. Okay, he said that would be nice. And then he inserted his information. So yes, we'll get back to you. Thank you, Michael, for that. And it appears those are all of the questions for us this morning, Vinnie. So as Vinnie already stated, thank you again for joining us today. This webinar is being recorded should you want to reference it again or share it with a colleague who may find this information beneficial. So with that being said, thank you everyone for joining us and have a great rest of your Friday.
And thank you, Diana, and thank you all.
Thank you.